Hey guys, since my last video, I've gotten a bunch of tips and ideas that I should have included in my original video, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. I will say the news and information has been as dry as the Mojave Desert in terms of what we can expect for the next Fallout game. But that doesn't mean we can't try to drum up some ideas for what we can expect for the next Fallout game. There's also a bit of Elder Scrolls rumors I want to talk about too, so stick around for that because we're going to try to brainstorm some ideas as to what we might see for that game as well. Again, I am new at this, so I would appreciate constructive criticism instead of anything that would be mean or hurtful. I'm trying my best. I still haven't come up with a format that fits for my channel, so I've been trying on different hats to see what fits. But I will get it, and I'm trying to make the best content that I could possibly make for you guys. So I would appreciate you guys giving me a chance. I'm going to get the Elder Scroll rumors out of the way first because that is something that people have been talking about. For starters, I want to talk about the rumored location change. Game Rant is the first article that posted information about this, that Elder Scrolls 6 might not be taking place within Tamriel. I haven't played Elder Scrolls since Skyrim way back when it released, so I am very unfamiliar with the different lands and the lore behind some of the lands that make up the world of Elder Scrolls. But let's start with what we know about Elder Scrolls 6, which there's not really a lot of information that we know of. Based off of what we do know, Elder Scrolls 6 is the next release slot for Bethesda. As of August 2023, Pete Hines confirmed that they are moving into the development phase, and also because of some documents that were leaked between Microsoft and the Federal Trade Commission, they say that the release date is at least 3 years away. This was back in 2023 when this happened, and considering we haven't heard much from Bethesda since, it probably won't see any major updates until at least 2027. Unfortunately, the game was teased back in 2018 at E3, but since the pandemic happened right after, that definitely slowed down production on the project. I know a lot of you, if you're watching this, probably know just as much as I do in terms of release dates, story, main plot, which is about nothing, because Bethesda has not given us any updates as to where they are with the game, how far they are with the game, and that only gives us room to speculate. I want to try to make some room for some new ideas and some new theories, so let's talk about the first big theory most people have been talking about for the setting of the game. The Hammerfell theory. A lot of people believe that the game will be taking place in Hammerfell, which is a region within Tamriel that is considered to be more of a desert tropical type of place, full of plant life, swamps, beaches, jungles, and mountains, which would be perfect for this game if they decide to make that the setting. So many players would be happy because there is a lot of exploration with different areas and thousands of side quests to do, because of all the different NPCs we'll run into, which sounds like a lot of fun, right? But here's where we run into the issue, which has sparked the rumor that was reported by Game Rant. The setting is going to end up changing, and this is just a rumor, okay? Take this with a grain of salt. Only because of an RPG that will be competing with Elder Scrolls, and that game is called Avowed, which is another title that is similar to Elder Scrolls that is theorized to be taking place in a region very similar to Hammerfell, which that's why a lot of people believe that the setting for Elder Scrolls 6 might change so that they can avoid having the game be similar to Avowed, which is a game that is being created by our Lord and Saviors, Obsidian Entertainment. I personally don't think it's going to change because Elder Scrolls is such a massive franchise that might not make that much of a difference towards Avowed in terms of environment and the NPCs and the quests the game will offer. I feel like changing it now would only cost more money and delay the game further. Just skimming through Hammerfell and reading about some of it makes it the perfect spot for this game. There's also a lot of other places that I would love to see them do. For starters, there's High Rock, which is home to the Brentons. The geography in this area would fit the next game perfectly if they don't decide to do Hammerfell because of all the different areas the players would be able to explore. There's also Elsewhere, which is the home of the Khajiit. Even though this area isn't as big as the other regions, there's always a possibility that they could combine the other regions nearby and make a fast travel system that could fit multiple locations. It would be nice to be able to focus on a small race like this because I imagine there could be a lot of stories to tell, as long as they bring all the customization back and tie it in with a great story that'll definitely satisfy a lot of the older fans, along with the ability to make mods more accessible. Bethesda has always had a very good character customization, so there's no doubt they'll do a great job with it again. Another theory, and this is a big one, is that the game might be a prequel to all of the existing Elder Scrolls games. All of the games have been mentioned multiple different big wars that have taken place before the events of the multiple games. And it would be nice to see Elder Scrolls follow some of the ancient lore that has been laid out by the writers. Even if they don't follow that route, the main thing people want to see is the innovation, without straying away from the formula too much. I love Skyrim, and I'm currently playing Elder Scrolls Online as I write this script, and personally, I would love to see them put out something as great as Skyrim that will stand the test of time like Skyrim has. That's all I really have to add to Elder Scrolls 6, so please share some of your thoughts with me down in the comments below. And let's move on to some Fallout 5 theories. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because there's a lot that we can talk about when it comes to Fallout 5, because there's a whole continent where Fallout 5 could take place. So that leaves a lot of room for some Fallout 5 theories and speculation. Sadly, I know this game definitely won't be coming anytime soon, just because of what Todd Howard has said in his latest interview that has crushed any possibility of a new game coming, or even a remaster of an old one. You would think that they would release a remaster of Fallout either 1, 2, or 3 to capitalize on the newfound excitement from the TV series, but unfortunately for us, that won't be the case. Like I said in my What's Going On with Bethesda video, Todd himself said that they don't even have any plans with a new game. They haven't even started discussing the possibility of a new game, because they want to try to add as much to Fallout 76 while they still can. The only thing that they did to celebrate the TV show was release the next-gen graphic update for Fallout 4, dropped an update for Fallout 76, and put Fallout Vault skins in Call of Duty. That's pretty much about it. But let's brainstorm some ideas as to where Fallout 5 might take place, and feel free to join me in the comment section on what you guys might think. So the first thing that came to mind when I was brainstorming ideas was New York, just because they've already done Boston and Washington DC, which is primarily on the East Coast, so New York would be something even cooler. Imagine being able to go through the Empire State Building killing mutants one by one, or maybe the survivors have built a stronghold inside of the Empire State Building. Now, the only reason why I think they probably wouldn't do this is because of the history of New York is very touchy with bombings and, of course, 9/11. So, talking about nuclear bombs destroying New York would probably be very controversial, especially because what would you do with the Freedom Tower at that point? Blow it up? Besides that, it would be interesting to see what kind of world they would be able to turn New York City into with a nuclear apocalypse. I hope that they would be able to do it without having it become a copy and paste of Fallout 4. Now, the next city that I thought of when I was thinking of places that Fallout could go next is New Orleans. especially because they did a folksy southern style with West Virginia. And people enjoyed the way they did that, except with Fallout 76, just because there weren't any NPCs when the game. And people enjoyed the way they did that, except with Fallout 76, just because there weren't any NPCs when the game that they could incorporate into the soundtrack of the game. Also, the map design itself could be a lot of fun to explore. I can imagine having Fallout take place here, and it would be very interesting to see what the radiation would do to some of the animal life and the underwater creatures. This could lay the groundwork for some crazy monster encounters and some great combat encounters that would make for a great challenge, and fun if they add a NPC companion, or make it so you could bring a friend. Invite one of your friends to be a companion, limiting it to just one to keep the old Fallout formula. You never know what kind of secret tunnels and buildings Bethesda could add to make exploration even more fun, along with the different settlements the surviving humans could have set up all over the state. This would make the wasteland more of a marshland, where they could give you the option to find scraps throughout the wasteland to build your own boats, to be able to travel through the terrain, and you'll find yourself having to trek through. And there's another point I want to make in my next location idea. Now, you might give me some flack for this, but hear me out. What if they decide to go back out west? Now, I know we've primarily seen the games on the East Coast except for New Vegas, but now would be such a great opportunity to go back to the West Coast after it's been so long. Maybe we could see California during the nuclear wasteland, with some references to Fallout New Vegas sprinkled in here and there, a little bit of fan service. We could also see what downtown LA would look like after the bombs would go off, and meet some new crazy NPCs that were rich enough to afford getting into the Fallout shelters before some of the other people. Maybe some famous movie stars, and this would be another great opportunity to get more involved with the mob ties that Fallout New Vegas had. Hollywood, and have fun while we're at it. I could go all day about the different locations because the possibilities are endless. What I would like to see are some changes to the formula without changing the game as a whole. Now, besides for locations, there's a lot of features I would love to see them do. Like better character customization. Maybe they add vehicles that you can customize and build yourself out of the parts from the wasteland. Basically like the ship customization from Starfield, but better. I would like to see the crafting make a return. And it would also be cool to see them take the cyberpunk approach, where you can pick multiple options as to what kind of background your character has. Maybe you're a former movie star / celebrity from before the war, or you're a criminal turned into a ghoul. Maybe you're part of organized crime, or maybe you're just a family man just trying to find a safe place to bring your family. I would definitely like to see them expand more on the Vault-Tec lore and the crazy different experiments that are being carried out in each of the different vaults. There's a multitude of different stories that they could come up with as background stories, with each of these tying into the main plot at some point, with all of them leading to their own ending, or maybe tying them all into the same ending with just different options. I really would like to see the dialogue change depending on your skills, like what they had in New Vegas with the intelligence skill changing up a lot of the dialogue options you get. I feel like there's just a whole new level of immersion to each of these characters' stories that they could come up with. They could also do a faction system like what they had in New Vegas. The possibilities would be endless. I just know whatever they do, they definitely need to do it right. It needs to be done right by the long-term fans that have been around since the beginning. They could even do a multiplayer system again, but in a way that still makes it a Fallout game and not like what they did with Fallout 76, because most people, including myself, did not enjoy what they did with Fallout 76. It would be nice to see a mix between Fallout and maybe something like Dying Light or Dead Island, where there's a limit to how many people you can have join you. That's just my personal opinion. They have a lot of time to try to draw inspiration from other games that do certain systems well, and they can implement those cool ideas without outright changing the parts of the franchise that people love. If they just take the time and do things right, there's a chance that they could earn back the trust of their fans again. Even if they decide to go back and make a game that takes place in between different Fallout games, that might work too. They just really need to listen to the fans and actually take what the fans want into consideration, because these people are the people that are going to support the hard work that they put into the games. These are the people who made the franchise what it is today. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. I know it's not much, but I would really love to hear what the fans would like to see with their future games, because in comparison to you, the viewers, I'm just a casual player. Most of you guys are veterans who have put hours and hours of your time into these games. Again, let me know down in the comments below what you would like to see happen with Fallout 5, or maybe even Elder Scrolls, because I would love to see what more seasoned players would like to see in these games. I also love seeing the passion a lot of you guys have for the franchise. This is going to be my last Bethesda Fallout related video for a little bit, as I would like to move on to other subjects, but if you enjoy watching these kinds of videos, please hit the subscribe button and show your support. I like to read everybody's comments and see everybody's opinions, so please feel free to let me know down below what your thoughts are. Once again, thanks for watching everybody, and have a good night. Also, one last thing before you go. Please, if you enjoy watching this video, go watch another one, because that's how the algorithm works, and if you enjoy watching these, maybe it'll recommend it to somebody else who loves this kind of content too. Also, please don't forget to give me feedback, and please be polite. I'm still learning, and I want to make my videos to the best of my abilities, and so it's an enjoyable experience. I know I don't always get it right, and I want to thank you guys for pushing me to do better, because I want to do better. I thank you all for your support, and have a good night.